What proposed law would get passed by the populace if the lawmakers were unable to block it? No stock trading for anyone in government that can vote on laws or works directly with those that can vote on laws. Ranked choice voting in the US. It opens the doors for more than 2 political parties, which is why no one currently in power wants to see it pass. Term limits, for sure. No insider trading would probably be another one. How about no donations or gifts while they're in office? Fining people based off their income and not declared amounts. It would prevent a single legal fine from destroying someone's life. Legalizing marijuana and abortions. These are things that most people agree should be legal, but lobbyists and religion stop from passing. People in government are barred from making investments in the stock markets due to conflicts of interests. The right to die. We shouldn't force life onto people who have no quality of life left unless they want to keep living like that. If someone is near end of life, is suffering, and wants their morphine dose turned up to 11, they should be free to make that choice, officially, instead of this weird everyone knows we kind of speed things along sometimes. But we also don't speed it along fast limbo we put people in. Particularly with things like Alzheimer's, people should be able to choose their fate before they've lost their autonomy. I want to be able to say when I can't remember my family anymore, have no independence and am constantly scared and confused, keep pumping me full of the happy drugs until my heart stops. It's not compassion forcing someone to cling on to life. Gambling. Abortion. Term limits. Elected officials can't own individual stock investments. Election systems. Booze on Sundays or in like special stores. Random earmarks and bills for unrelated things. Instead of just voting on that thing itself. Something would happen with immigration. What direction I couldn't say. Upper marginal rates on the truly wealthy. If people are smart, they'd make it not based upon immediate income. Tax avoidance schemes that the layperson can't do or get. Lobbying. Campaign fin reform. State dependent would be healthcare. That's a 50-50. No direct campaign donations at all. Make all campaign donation part of your income tax as a write-off like your 401k or medical insurance. That only way to increase spending it to give people fair wages. Also ban tipping wage, thing that forces them to live like we do. I for one like lawmakers have to live with the medical system insurance the commoners do. Lobbying. A full stop to indoor trading by seated congressmen. Funny how everyone is basically just giving their own personal political opinion and assuming that would get mass consensus. In reality, there isn't really anything I think you could get a majority of an entire populace to agree on. Any candidate campaigns on an issue but then votes against a bill that would fix it during their term. That candidate should not be eligible for re-election. The federal government shuts down. Then so does the salaries of all members of Congress and the president. And no back pay for however long it is shut down for. My biggest political ideas is to implement the people's veto after a bill is passed through Congress and president's veto, it then goes to a direct democratic vote for final passage. Veto. Could easily implement system to make sure every single citizen has the right to participate, such as free app pagers etc., where people can read each bill and cast their vote. I think the main problem in our country is how little normal citizens are able to control things, so this would directly address that problem by putting the power in each person's hands in a one person one vote type of way. Then no matter how corrupt or idiotic our leaders are, they must do things in a way that will be okay with at least a majority of people. Could even make it a supermajority like 66 or something. I'd trace back through the last multiple decades of policies and tell me this wouldn't change many outcomes for the better. Inherently anti-corruption and pro-democracy. I think left and center would readily support if the plan looks good and right could be convinced, can appeal to everyone's wish to have more agency in how things are run. Whole lot of stuff. Universal background checks and a few other common sense gun ownership, minimum taxes on corporations and the for all, and letting Medicare and Medicaid negotiate treatment, legal parking minimus, etc. etc. Most of the US agrees in broad strokes on policy. The failures in communication come when we start using buzzwords and shorthand to talk about them instead of describing the ideas themselves, which we're all guilty of to some degree, because slogans and buzzwords are way easier to remember. Balanced budgets. 2 terms maximum for representatives and senators. Balanced budget passed every year, or all are ineligible for re-election with provisions for removal from office and special elections to replace. Ranked choice voting. Increased number of political parties, and mandate structure so that no single party can have a majority. Look at Germany's parliamentary system. Mandatory nap time for adults law. Just imagine every day at 2 p.m., offices everywhere would transform into cozy nap zones. Productivity would skyrocket because well-rested people are happy people. Plus, who wouldn't want an excuse to bring their favorite blankie and pillow to work? Limits. Marijuana legalization, independent drawn maps, Citizens United. Limits. No citizen because you were born here crap, and death for insider trading by anyone representing the people of any area of the USA, call it the Pelosi taking out trash bill. Abortion rights, marriage equality, tax reform, public health care, election reform. All of these would win a popular vote. People don't really want to do anything other than complain and blame others. Doing something requires a force of will and malice aforethought that the people don't have. For all lobbyist meetings are recorded and publicly available. Limits. Age limits. No trading of stocks by government officials. And marijuana. Limits. Age limits. Dementia, entrenched bribes, campaign finance reform, ranked choice voting, state college or community college for free, healthcare reform, defense spending full accounting and realignment, reinforced separation of church and state, and a fair tax policy with no loopholes for the rich. Lobbying should 1 million be very illegal. No individual or a group of individuals should have any sort of power when it comes to the outcome of votes of elected officials. That gives those people more power than the rest simply because they have more money. The whole point of elections is to let the people vote on who they think will make the best decisions for them. If those officials had votes that can be bought after being elected, what's stopping people from lobbying on every single issue and rendering elections pointless? You have to live frugally as a politician so you can see how government policies affect the populace. Basically, laws repealing other laws, making things that used to be illegal become legal: weed, abortion, sports gambling, porn, gay marriage, prostitution. Lots of these things have gone back and forth through history, and differ by location, but the popular trend is always toward more personal freedom, and politicians tend to lag behind the populace. Limits. No stock trading. Age limits. Make lobbying illegal and punishable by immediate removal. Universal health care. Student loan forgiveness. Shall I continue? Campaign finance caps. Not just on donations. Total campaign expenditure caps. Limits. Upper age limits for elected positions, proportional representation, actual tax rates on billionaires and corporations. Transaction tax on stock trades prevent flash crashes and price manipulation. Thing about clean air and clean doesn't want both clean air and water? Evidently Republicans and their special interests. Politicians have to wear patches of the name of their campaign contributors like the way they put stickers on cars at NASCAR races. No dark money. Government positions should be held by those who studied it and have taken an exam. There are states where companies are not required to cash out paid time off if you leave the company. No way the general population lets that one stand if they can choose. Immigration would be fixed very quickly. Most Americans agree on what to do. Only the politicians think it's divisive. Children who always vote to eat ice cream for dinner. Too much democracy is not a healthy thing. Governmental leaders who commit military action in an undefensive war must lead from the front. Limits. Roe v. Wade would be set into law. Marijuana would be legal. We'd probably see more relaxed gun laws in some states. And age limits. Taxing the rich fairly. Barring members of Congress from interacting with stock markets, to name a few. Holiday. Maternity leave, earlier retirement age, money out of campaigns, and ranked choice voting.